Come, let us train to become the loving people that our dogs already think we are. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. Let us begin by opening up the practice text. As you can tell, this is a Word document. However, when you go to the, When you go to the downloads page, whose link can be found in the description area below the video, you'll notice that all the texts there are formatted as PDFs. In fact, they've been formatted to be read upon one's smartphone, provided it is held horizontally. So it's incredibly important that these are very large documents, and you can lose your mind trying to navigate a PDF in a smartphone. So do yourself a favor. Download the free Kindle app. Number two, when you migrate the PDF to the app, you'll be given a choice to convert it to a Kindle doc or to keep it as a PDF doc. Choose PDF. That is what it is formatted for. The recommended reading for this lesson is the blog post homework. The quickest way to find that blog post, you guessed it, is to go to the downloads page. Wrong button. Let's hit that one there. Okay. So we're going to start. This is lesson 1 in a 30-day cycle of lessons. We begin with with love meditation. One of the texts you will receive, I think, for tomorrow night is the Buddha's 11 benefits of loving kindness. So here's a thought to play with. All of us are mammals, and as such we are born with a midbrain replete with an anterior gyrate and a firmament of mirror neurons. Every healthy mammal is wired for compassion and cooperation. So practicing loving kindness is not a chore. It's what we were born for. However, since we have been conditioned by a society that denigrates cooperation and compassion and praises competition and cruelty, we sometimes need a good reason. So how about this? Humanity is sprinting toward the precipice of its own destruction, either in the shape of a nuclear winter or in runaway climate change. No less fascism run amok. If humanity is to avoid this unnecessary fate, each of us must cultivate the compassion and cooperation that are our birthright. Buddha did not invent concentration, but he did invent mindfulness meditation. And he taught the 4 bases of mindfulness. And he organized many of his contemplations according to that outline, including this one tonight. So we're going to begin with circumstance. On the left, you'll notice what I like to call contemplative notation, which is rather like musical notation. And when we read in-breath, the inference is that when we notice our body breathing in, we're not concentrating upon the breath, we're not forcing the breath. But when we notice the breath, we're going to silently and mentally recite safety 4. And on the out breath, we're going to silently and mentally recite 1/4. So what this is here, these are words that we are feeding into our inner narrator, our monologue of the mind, in a way not dissimilar to the manner in which a hungry vegan might drop pieces of fruit into a running blender to make a smoothie. So our job is not to believe, our job is not to affirm, our job is not to make magic through ritual or occult energy work. Our job is simply to silently and mentally recite these words in harmony with our breathing, that they might have a profound influence upon our intention, not our emotion. We sculpt our emotion at our own peril, but we can guide our intention through the cunning use of words. On the bottom right-hand side of the screen, in smaller font, we see tabulatory notation, which is just a fancy way of saying finger positions we use so as not to lose track. We're going to perform this exercise for one set of 4 breaths. We shall count the sets upon our left hand and the reps or the breaths or the rounds, whichever term you prefer, upon our right. We begin by touching the tip of our left thumb to its left little finger and slide that thumb tip down until it comes to rest upon the lower set of creases. We rest each hand upon its thigh, palms up. We sit up straight, no slouching here. Head over shoulders, shoulders over tush, feet flat on the floor, assuming you are sitting in a chair. So there are several metta suttas, or discourses upon loving kindness. In one of the more famous, the Buddha described various things we could wish for others. One of those is we can wish safety for others. That's not maudlin or pessimistic, that's just very practical. And so wishing someone safety is a reference to their circumstances, which is one of the 4 bases of mindfulness, which we will explore more deeply in the 3rd lesson. So imagine, if you will, the face of a clock, like the kind on the schoolroom wall. And we could divide it into quarters. And so the 1/4 of the clock would be like from 12 o'clock to 3. 1/2 would be from 12 o'clock to 6. And 3/4 would be from 12 o'clock to 9. And the whole thing would be from 12 o'clock to 12 o'clock. In the earliest discourses, the Buddha taught us to wish well for 1/4 of the world, and then 1/2 of the world, and then 3/4 of the world, and then the entirety of the world. Now, many decades ago, when I first stumbled upon this teaching, I thought, I was too spiritual to really follow those instructions, and I would just spend all my time sending good thoughts to all people everywhere. Fast forward many years, I decided to follow his instructions more precisely. And you know what? It worked even better. So that's what we're going to do right now. And when we say 1/4 of the world's population, we mean all beings, whether they walk or crawl or swim or fly. In the Buddha's first discourse, he taught that there is stress, and that stress has causes. And there is liberation from the tyranny of stress, and that liberation has causes. He said that the second cause of liberation was wishing love. He taught that the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th causes were loving behavior. So it's imperative that our loving wishes transform our behavior. nibbling popcorn and drinking a beverage, we would still be able to enjoy what is going on the screen. And likewise, or I should say, and in reverse, we could enjoy what's going on the screen without neglecting our popcorn and our soda. Likewise, what we recite during the in-breath is kind of like our popcorn. And what we recite silently and mentally during our out-breath is kind of like our soda. And so we can enjoy the show, whatever we're experiencing, while silently and mentally reciting safety for 2/4. Let's count these 4 breaths upon the 3 creases and tip of our right ring finger. Let us now count upon the 3 sets of creases and tip of our right middle finger. Safety for 3/4. You don't gotta visualize nothing. All you do is silently and mentally and passively recite these words in harmony with your breathing. That's enough. Safety for 3/4. We are not training our emotions, for emotions are squirrely things, random and unpredictable. We are training our intention, so we could feel cranky as hell and still intend others well, silently and mentally to ourselves. And you know what? That does not make us a hypocrite. That makes us a well-adjusted adult striving to do the right thing. Let us advance to the next page and prepare to count upon the 3 sets of creases and tip of our right index finger. Safety for all quarters. If at any time during this live stream you have a question, don't be shy. Just type your question into the chat area and I'll do my best to answer it. If I don't get to your question, then I'll probably answer it in a future blog or a future video or a future live stream. But I got your back. Now that we have blended circumstance and love, we are now going to blend circumstance with mindfulness of body. So since we've completed our first set, we're going to advance the tip of our left thumb up our left little finger to its middle set of creases. We now return our attention to our right hand, and we prepare to count upon the 3 sets of creases and tip of our right little finger. Great health for 1/4. A passive-aggressive cancer patient once crossed her arms and said to me, how can I give people something I don't have? And she was looking for an excuse for not to practice. And I told her, you're not giving no one nothing. You're simply wishing others well. Or to put it more keenly, you are noticing what you desire, and remembering that other people desire it too, and sublimating our own selfish greed for health and transmuting it into love that wishes health, not just for ourselves, but all beings everywhere. Once again, this is not something we need to feel, it's merely something we intend, and we guide our intentions simply by marrying the silent and mental recitation of our words with our breathing. Great health 4, 1/4. We prepare to count upon our right ring finger. Great health 4, 2/4. And if you're sensing a pattern, that's deliberate. By sticking to a template, by sticking to a pattern, it lends itself to the effortless memorization of these techniques, which lends itself to our practicing it more completely and more transformatively. Great health 4, 2/4. Let us prepare to count upon our right middle finger. Great health 4, 3/4. The test of the teachings is not whether they appeal to us intellectually or intuitively or instinctively or emotionally. What then? What is the test of the teachings? According to the Buddha, the only valid test of the teachings is the results that we generate from applying the teachings. For instance, if we apply them every morning and every evening for 7 consecutive days, and then analyze our results, we'll be able to tell. We will say, hey, is this technique making me more cranky and more fearful? Or is it making me more peaceful and more loving and more happy and more resourceful? That is the only test of the teaching. Now count upon our right middle finger. Great health 4, 3/4. And now we prepare to count upon our right index finger. Great health 4, all quarters. And don't be off put if I'm breathing faster than you. That's because I'm doing all this talking. We now proceed to the third base of offering, which is our experience of the interpersonal. In Tantra, our experience of the interpersonal is referred to as speech. In Sutra, our experience of the interpersonal is referred to as feelings. At least it is in this context. We're going to advance the tip of our left thumb up our left little finger to its higher set of creases. And we prepare to count upon our right little finger. Great piece 4, 1/4. 1/4. We now prepare to count upon our right ring finger. Great joy 4. Sense or sights or sounds, whether we perceive emotions or intentions or thoughts or or memories or fantasies, whether we perceive pleasure or pain, the external or the internal, the real or the imagined. We do not need to control what's going on. We do not need to analyze what's going on. We do not even need to label what's going on. On the in-breath, we simply silently and mentally recite, "Notice this." And on the out-breath, we do two things. First, we silently and mentally recite, relaxing. But in addition to silently and mentally reciting, relaxing, we're also choosing or intending to physically relax as best we can. For our physical relaxation leads our mental release. It is the key to letting go. And luckily, thanks to natural selection, we are already wired to relax to a certain degree during each exhalation. Now, we've run out of room on our left little finger, so we're going to extend our left thumb over the top of our little finger and let the tip of our thumb come to rest upon that little finger's third knuckle. Not its crease, but its knuckle. I know this is ungainly, but if you play with this exercise every morning and every evening for 7 consecutive days, it won't feel so weird. One of my neighbors has a bumper sticker, and it reads, "It's only kinky the first time." So we read over here on the right that we're going to perform this for one set of 16 breaths. Let's begin our counting upon our right little finger. We will count first upon the right little finger's lower set of creases, and then its middle set of creases, and then its higher set of creases, and then its tip. And we will advance our right thumb during each in-breath. We do not control how slow or fast or deep or shallow our breath is. We are just going along for the ride. Notice this. Relaxing. We continue upon the 3 sets of creases and tip of our right ring finger. Notice this. Relaxing. And don't worry if I'm breathing faster than you. It's because I'm doing all this talking. My enjoyment of them. But I experienced the opposite to be true. That the movie enhanced my enjoyment of the popcorn and the soda, and the popcorn and the soda enhanced my enjoyment of the movie. And this could be very much like our practice of meditation, where during our inhalation we silently and mentally recite, "Notice this," And during our exhalation, we silently and mentally recite, relaxing, while actually physically relaxing as best we can. For just as I was able to observe the movie while snacking and sipping, we can notice our mind while noticing and relaxing. We can notice sensations and flavors and scents and sounds and sights, as well as our emotions and intentions and reasonings and recollections and imaginings. And we can notice all these things passively and non-conceptually as we physically relax into each exhalation, for that is what our bodies have evolved to do. I've lost my place. All that we noticed as we breathe in could feel a little less graspable and a little easier to mentally release as we relax into our out-breath. And just as the snacking and the sipping did not undermine my enjoyment of the movie, but rather enhanced it. Likewise, our silent and mental recitations of notice this and relaxing, in harmony with our breathing, does not undermine our ability to watch the play of mind or relax into its non-graspable nature, but rather facilitates it. More than 2 millennia ago, a Jewish carpenter is said to have explained that man was not made for the Sabbath, but Sabbath for man. Likewise, I tell you that we do not sit in meditation that we might more efficiently recite notice this and relaxing, but rather that we silently and mentally recite notice this and relaxing, that we might more efficiently meditate, so that our passive and non-conceptual observation of the play of mind and our physical and visceral and mental relaxation into its non-graspable nature might be more easy and effective and transformative. Recall Darth Bane's rule of 2, wherein there must be a master to have power and a student to crave it. This is a form of elitism and manipulation, and over the millennia, many so-called spiritual teachers have used cryptic meditation instructions and techniques to reinforce a rule of 2 like elitism and coercion. Some deliberately choose obfuscation and coercion because they embraced elitism and power and prestige. Others chose the same obfuscation and coercion because they lacked the mental acuity to know better. But I'm here to tell you that something does not have to be difficult to be effective. I'm telling you the opposite. I'm telling you that something must be easy and intuitive if it is to be sustainable, no less profound. But do not take my word for it. Put it to the test. Play with its techniques every morning and every evening that you, like Rey Skywalker, might meditate like a Jedi. When you play with its techniques on your own after you have downloaded the text, questions will occur to you. When they do, I invite you to bring those questions to me, either as a direct message on Instagram, whose link can be found in the description area below the video, or as a comment on this live stream or a YouTube video, or in this video if it's edited and cleaned up, or simply ask me during the beginning of tomorrow night's class. My ability to help you is directly proportional to the specificness of your questions. The more practical your questions are, the more specific your questions are, the more I can be of service to you upon the Buddha's path of liberation. My friends, if you have found value in these live streams and videos and podcasts and blog posts and class materials, numerous and free to download, then please consider supporting this channel by arranging a monthly donation through the link that can be found in the description area below this video. If, however, you cannot afford to support this channel at this time, then you can support this channel for free by doing 4 things. By clicking the subscribe button, by clicking the bell-shaped notification button so you won't miss a single upload, so by clicking the thumbs up like button, and by typing a comment, concise but germane. These things really help with the algorithm. I'm going to conclude now by dispelling the myth of the greedy monk. For in the Tibetan tradition, neither monks, nor yogis, nor lamas are supported by monasteries. Au contraire, they must pay for room and board and supplies, and to that ends they seek patrons from either family or friends or students or strangers. And those who cannot find patrons wander as homeless. My friends, I thank you for your time and your kind attention. Until next we speak, may you and yours be happy and healthy.